What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick. So this is a paid request from Larry the Batman fan. He basically wanted me to do a video about like either top 5 or top 10 movies of any action star. Basically, this is what he wanted. So special thanks to Larry the Batman fan for this paid request. Make sure to go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Paid requests are always much appreciated. So I'm going to be doing top 10 Bruce Willis movies. I chose Bruce Willis because he is personally my favorite action star. So let's get into this. Now, with these choices, I'm going to do my best to remember these films because some of these films I've seen a long time ago, some of these films a little more recent. So let's get into my list. Number 10, I have the movie Red. Red was a really good film from Bruce Willis. I definitely liked that one. I think it's the best newest film he did. I thought that film had really good action in it. It had a good cast. You had Bruce Willis, you had Morgan Freeman, you had John Malkovich. You had a pretty good villain in there. I remember there being a good story and really good action. Especially, I remember that scene where Bruce Willis is fighting that one guy who has like a blue shirt. And I remember it just being a really solid action film. And I remember liking Red. It had even a cool opening where they like attacked Bruce Willis's house. So, which means retired extremely dangerous. That's what Red means. I haven't seen that film in a very long time, but I remember really enjoying it and really liking it and really thinking it was a solid film. So that's number 10. The sequel wasn't really that good, though. I couldn't finish Red 2. And I remember the finale of Red was pretty good, too, where it was like Morgan Freeman and Bruce Willis, and I think John Malkovich was there. So they were all good, as well as people in the movie next to Bruce Willis. So, yeah. My number 9 choice is going to be The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense is a great movie with Bruce Willis. Great film. Basically him playing like, I think it's like a therapist or something like that to this kid who can basically see dead people. And the film's about that. And of course there's a twist in the film later on where you find out that Bruce Willis, his character, is actually dead. But the kid's been seeing him, basically. And I think in the beginning of the film, you see the kid growing up, played by Donnie Wahlberg. So yeah, The Sixth Sense, I remember liking that film. Definitely prime Bruce Willis. Definitely a really good film with him. Good acting, good story, and a solid film. An interesting story, and had a good twist in it. And Bruce Willis had a good performance in it, and chemistry he had with whoever the kid's name was good. So yeah, that was a pretty good film. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but that's a good film. So that's my number 9 choice, The Sixth Sense. So number 8 choice is going to be the movie Unbreakable. Unbreakable is a really good film with Bruce Willis. Really good, pretty much superhero film where Bruce Willis is like a superhero, where he basically can't be killed. Samuel Jackson is in there as Mr. Glass, the villain in like the wheelchair, who is very fragile. And I remember that being a pretty good movie. Had a good story, had good action parts in it. And that was another solid film that was also prime Bruce Willis. And yeah, that was a really good movie too. I remember really liking Unbreakable and thinking it was a good superhero film with Bruce Willis. And just remember enjoying that one. And M. Night Shyamalan, that's probably his best film easily as a director. So that's my number 8 choice, Unbreakable. That's a really good film. I haven't seen Split or Glass. So, yeah. My number 7 choice is going to be The Last Boy Scout. The Last Boy Scout is a great film with Bruce Willis. It's also got Damon Wayans in it. It's an underrated Bruce Willis film. I feel like it's not as talked about as his other ones. Definitely really like The Last Boy Scout. It was a good kind of like, not both of the characters weren't cops from what I remember, but technically like a good buddy cop film, even though I don't think both characters were cops. Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, they were great in it. They had good chemistry. I remember it being a pretty good action film with good action parts in it. I remember some parts from the film, like my favorite part from the film is Bruce Willis is at like the bad guy's mansion or something like that. And I think he like keeps picking up a cigarette or doing something, and the guy keeps knocking it out of his hand or doing something. And Bruce Willis says, "If you do that again, I'll kill you." And he doesn't. And Bruce Willis stands up and punches the guy so hard in his nose area that he kills him. He says, "I told him I'd kill him." That's the best part of the film. I remember that one. I also remember, I think, the beginning where he like finds out his wife was cheating on him with this guy. So yeah, Last Boy Scout's a great film. Good buddy cop action film. I think there was some comedy in it, though I can't remember. But Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans in it were great. Halle Berry was in there, I think, as well. And yeah, that was a solid film. I like The Last Boy Scout. I believe, what's his name? I think Tony Scott directed that, who is Ridley Scott's brother. So good director. And yeah, that's my number 7 choice, Last Boy Scout. That's a really good film. So my number 6 choice is going to be 16 Blocks. 16 Blocks is a great film. Really like 16 Blocks. It's an awesome movie. It's basically about like Bruce Willis and Mos Def. Mos Def is a prisoner, and Bruce Willis has to escort him to the court while he's on the run, going up against a whole bunch of corrupt cops. So it's basically Bruce Willis going up against corrupt cops while escorting Mos Def to the court. And I thought that was a solid film. I thought it had an interesting story. I was engaged the whole way through. I was entertained. I liked the kind of character Bruce Willis played. This like old sort of washed up cop kind of character. Then you get a twist later on that Bruce Willis was actually one of the corrupt cops that was involved with something with Mos Def's character. I can't quite remember what it was, but he was involved in it, which is why he was helping him, because he felt bad about it. And I thought the film was just really entertaining, and just a film you are entertained and watch the whole way through, where it's like kind of this, thing, like it's like constant pace thing of they go from this area to that area to this area, escorting them to the court. It was entertaining and good film. And yeah, I think I forgot to say the plot of The Last Boy Scout and Red. I can't quite remember the plot of those films because I haven't seen them in so long. But yeah, that's my number 6 choice, 16 Blocks. That's a really good film. Yeah, I like that one. So my number 5 choice is going to be the movie Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's a great film. Definitely a solid movie from Quentin Tarantino. It's got a great cast in it. Samuel Jackson, John Travolta, Ving Rhames, Bruce Willis. Interesting story, great dialogue, good action parts in there. Tim Roth in there. It's a solid film, definitely one of Quentin Tarantino's best. And Bruce Willis is really good in the film as the boxer character. The story with him is interesting. The stuff he has with Ving Rhames, him and Ving Rhames getting trapped in that store. Bruce Willis getting the katana and slicing the one guy in half. Just a great film, and Bruce Willis was great in it as well. Fun fact, Mickey Rourke was supposed to be Bruce Willis's part, but Bruce Willis ended up getting that part because of, I think, some stuff going on in Mickey Rourke or something. I can't quite remember the full story, but that's a fun fact for you. But that's my number 5 choice, Pulp Fiction. Really good film, and it was different in the sense of not only Quentin Tarantino's style and the dialogue, but the fact that it was like told out of order, basically, like the story and how the characters, like how the stuff happened with the characters and stuff. It was like told out of order. Like you saw, I think John Travolta's character get killed by Bruce Willis, but then later on you still saw his character because of the way they did the story. But yeah, that's my number 5 choice, Pulp Fiction. That's definitely a solid film for sure. So my number 4 choice is going to be Die Hard, the first one. Classic action movie. Put Bruce Willis on the map, made him a star. Great action film. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh yeah, Alan Rickman. Sadly, he's dead in Hours in Peace, but he plays a great villain in Die Hard as Hans Gruber. Great villain, bad guy. Movie has really good action in it, and Bruce Willis's character in the film is really cool. It's basically like just an average Joe, a cop in this building, having to take on all these villains and take on everybody by himself. Of course, there's a famous dialogue from there, the yippee-ki-yay motherfucker thing, and yeah, it's a really good film. Has good action in it. Great villain. Bruce Willis is great in it as the main character, and it's also one of those films that it doesn't, the pace you don't feel the pace, because there's some movie, because I think it has like 2 hours or something. There's some movies where you really feel the pace, but Die Hard's one of those films where I feel like you don't feel the pace. And a lot of people say this is the best Christmas movie, and a lot of people consider it a Christmas movie. I would say I consider it a Christmas movie as well. Maybe I'd say it's the best Christmas movie as well, too, if I had to really maybe think about Christmas movies. But yeah, that's my number 4 choice, Die Hard, classic action film. Put Bruce Willis on the map, and it is a really good film, that's for sure. And yeah, solid action film. So my number 3 choice is going to be Die Hard with a Vengeance. I actually think this is my favorite Die Hard film, and I actually think it's the best Die Hard sequel. I really enjoyed Die Hard with a Vengeance. I thought it was a solid film. Bruce Willis was great in it. Samuel Jackson was great in it. I loved how Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis were in this film the whole way through. They had really good chemistry. The story was really interesting. The villain they dealt with, the action in it was really good. I liked the location. I think it was LA. And I just really enjoyed the film and thought it was entertaining. And I thought it was really solid and just a really good Die Hard sequel. And yeah, I really liked it. I just remember liking it the most out of the Die Hards I've seen. I haven't seen Die Hard 4 fully, and I haven't seen Die Hard 5. So yeah, but number 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Great action film. Great pair up with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson. I remember there was some scene where Bruce Willis was like forced to wear some kind of sign that was like racist or something, and Samuel Jackson was like, "What the hell?" I think the villain, like the villain of the film, was making Bruce Willis do certain things and making them do crazy things. Like, I remember one of the plot points I think was them having to go after this bomb or bombs in the city. So yeah, I think I remember there being some good comedy and stuff in there, and yeah, it was a solid film. So that's my number 3 choice, Die Hard with a Vengeance. So my number 2 choice is going to be The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element is a great, phenomenal film with Bruce Willis. It's got a really good cast. You got Mila Jovovich in there. It's her best role and best movie, honestly. You have, what's his name? Gary Oldman in there is Zod, I think. Maybe I'm getting the villain name wrong. And then you have Chris Tucker in there. You have Tiny Lister Jr. in there. You have, who else do you have? Well, those are the main ones I know. But The Fifth Element, just a great, phenomenal, classic film. Really enjoy that one. It had an interesting story. Bruce Willis was great in it. His chemistry, Mila Jovovich, was really good. It was cool to have Tiny Lister Jr. as like the president. Chris Tucker was great in it, one of his best roles. He was good in there for the comedy stuff. It was a solid action film, good like space sci-fi type of film. One of the few sci-fi films I don't mind. And I thought it was just really good. From what I remember in the story, it was like, I think Bruce Willis had to like go after these these stones or tabs or something that that the Gary Oldman villain wanted. Then there was like this blue alien woman that was singing or something like that. I remember. The interesting thing about this movie though is Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman the villain, they never meet each other. There's never a crossover between the two, which is quite odd. But yeah, Fifth Element's definitely a really good action film with Bruce Willis. Definitely like that one, so that's my number 2 choice. So my number 1 choice for my all-time favorite Bruce Willis film, what got me into Bruce Willis, Sin City. Sin City, I think, is Bruce Willis' best movie. That's my favorite Bruce Willis movie. I love Sin City. It is a great comic book film. I love the style of it. It's dark and gritty. I like how it's like black and white. You have very interesting stories being told in there. Really good cast. You got Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke. You have Brittany Murphy. You have Benicio del Toro. You got Clive Owen. You got a lot of good actors in there. You know, the stories are interesting. My favorites are Mickey Rourke's as Marv and Bruce Willis as Hartigan. Bruce Willis was awesome in Sin City. I loved his character in that film. I loved the story where he's protecting this girl. He had protected her at the beginning, Nancy, when she was younger, and then he reunites with her when she's older. He's after the corrupt mayor of this place of Sin City, played by Powers Booth. And I just love Bruce Willis's character in the film. He was like this old badass cop. He would do narration, which was really cool. I think a lot of the characters in the film did narration, but the narration was cool. Bruce Willis's character in Sin City reminded me so much of Max Payne. It's like, why didn't they just get Bruce Willis in those days to do a Max Payne movie? He would have been a better choice than Mark Wahlberg. I don't mind Mark Wahlberg, but he was not a good choice for Max Payne. I think Bruce Willis would have made a lot more sense. Mickey Rourke was awesome. His story was great. I loved him as Marv. Really cool character design. Just this big guy, badass. I found him to be like the most fun as a character and story, and he was just awesome. I remember when the cops were electrocuting him, and he was like, "Is that the best you can do, you pansies?" And they electrocuted him again. So, yeah, that's my number 1 choice, Sin City. I also like Clive Owen's storyline and what's going on with him. He had Benicio del Toro in the car, dead, but then there were scenes where he was back, like talking to him. So yeah, Sin City's a phenomenal comic book film, and just really well made. And that's definitely my favorite Bruce Willis film because I just love Bruce Willis's performance in it. The big gun he uses, the beginning when he's going after that guy, the son of the mayor who's trying to do sexual stuff with a little girl, and then he gets betrayed by his partner Michael Madsen. Um, then he's beat. There's scenes where he's like beat up by people who work for the mayor that want him to, I think, sign a deal or something like that, but he refuses to because he knows what they're doing here is wrong. He eventually ends up killing himself in the end, so the mayor won't keep going after Nancy and stuff. He said it ends with him, and then he had that scene where he has to fight the mayor's son again, who has become like this yellow-looking dude, and he beats him to death with his hands. And definitely a violent film as well, and the gore in it looks pretty good. So that's my number one choice, Sin City. So that would be, yeah, my top 10 Bruce Willis movies. Like I said, some of these I haven't seen in a very long time, so memory's not the best on a lot of these. Now, some honorable mentions. Over the Hedge is a really good animated film that Bruce Willis voices in. Alpha Dog's pretty good, but Bruce Willis isn't in it a whole lot, so I feel like I can't count that. I remember liking Looper. I remember that being good. Planet Terror is a good zombie film, but again, Bruce Willis is not in that a whole lot. The Siege, that was pretty good with him and Denzel Washington. It was great to see them work together. I like Die Hard 2, but I don't think it's as good as Die Hard 1 and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like, I wouldn't put it in the same caliber as those, but it's still a good film. Tears of the Sun was a good military film. Armageddon's good, but it's just overplayed. It used to come on TV all the time, and I just got sick of that movie. So yeah, that's it for my top 10 Bruce Willis movies. Definitely my favorite action star. Definitely feel bad for him nowadays. He has like the dementia thing, only in his 60s, which is very sad. It's a young age to have that, and it's a terrible condition to have. It really sucks it happened to Bruce Willis. I guess another honorable mention would be Striking Distance. That's a really good film. Now, Bruce Willis, his later films really aren't that good. Now, to be fair, a lot of that has to do with his condition of him having dementia. But before we found out he did that, he was doing a lot of movies that weren't any good, where most of the time he looked bored. I think he even said he was tired of doing action movies. I really wish there could have been a chance for him to do different genres and different types of movies before he had the dementia thing. If he was bored of action films, they should have let him do horror films and maybe some thrillers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for my top 10 Bruce Willis movies video. Peace out, everyone.